What a lot of people don't realize is that when you're in resistance to a negative emotion, a negative feeling, this is what actually keeps that emotion alive. And when you release resistance to negative emotions, when you release resistance to negative feelings, this is actually what allows you to fully let them go and free yourself from those emotions. Now, freeing yourself from negative emotions doesn't mean that you're not going to feel them, but it means that you're going to release the internal resistance to them that will allow you to actually let them go. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to free yourself from negative emotions, not in the way that your mind thinks, but in a very powerful way that seems a little bit counterintuitive, but actually leads you to the path of least resistance and allows you to fully let go of these emotions and be in alignment with better emotions that are much more enjoyable to experience. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me personally one-on-one, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So you got to understand that negative emotions are a natural part of being human. Some people resist their own humanness. Like, we as human beings have emotions that are going to come up to the surface. We are going to be faced with challenges in life. We are going to be faced with adversity. And I'm not saying that to be pessimistic. I'm saying something that will allow you to release resistance and free yourself from these emotions, not by not experiencing them, but by fully experiencing them and integrating them, which allows you to actually free yourself from them. And the most important thing to understand is that as a human, you're going to experience negative emotions. If anybody tells you that's negative emotions are normal, they are neglecting their own humanness. And there's a chance that person is repressing their emotions as well. So the first step to free yourself from negative emotions is to understand that it's normal to have them, and you always want to allow them to be there. Allow them to be there. And so what a lot of people do is that they understand the law of attraction, they understand that they create their realities, for example, and they actually neglect their humanness and they choose to focus on something they prefer instead. Now that's beautiful, always focus on what you prefer to experience, but sometimes in life, you can't just resist a negative emotion that comes up and just focus on something else. Sometimes it's about being there fully. It's about fully being there with that emotion, allowing it to be there, not identifying with it for who you are. So if you're feeling depression, you're not depression. Depression is an energetic emotional pattern that you are observing, which is not who you are. And so you want to allow them to be there from a space of observation, because observation is what allows you to allow those emotions to be there. The first step to free yourself from any negative emotion is to allow the emotion to be there, because we're conditioned in society to repress, to suppress those emotions, to unconsciously put that emotion under the rug. It's like you take a little sweeper and just sweep it under the rug. How is that honoring your humanness? We as humans have negative emotions. Allow them to be there. If you allow them to be there, what's going to happen is that you're going to transmute that negative energy into positive energy. Become still. Notice your breath. Connect deeply to the present moment and realize that you are not that emotion. Okay? You can just simply allow it to be there. Now, the second step is to just give yourself the opportunity to experience that emotion, to experience the negative emotion. Because what keeps you stuck in the prison of your thoughts and your emotions is the resistance to them. This actually blocks manifestation, and this doesn't allow us to feel the peace that we're meant to be experiencing in life. I believe, and I have seen, and I have noticed in my experience that our natural state of being is just peace. It's just joy. It's contentness. Even if there's a challenge, if you release mental, internal mind resistance to that challenge, it can actually be a catalyst to experience even more presence and even more joy and more peace. Now here's the thing, peace does not mean that you're not going to be experiencing a negative emotion. That's not what peace is. People think that peace is being in some joyful state. Being in a peaceful state can lead to joy, but the beginning to peace is not by getting from a lower state to some higher state. The key is to understand that peace is an underlying energy field that can observe any emotion. Give yourself the opportunity to fully experience that emotion. Give yourself a safe space. It's totally safe for you to cry, to be angry, to scream. Just don't identify with that emotion and take it to be who you are, because the truth is that you are not that emotion, but still give yourself the space to experience it. If you're going to neglect your humanness and focus on something you want to manifest instead, you may be subconsciously repressing certain traumas that will block you from your manifestations because you're not willing to fully allow that emotion to be there. So do yourself a favor. Allow yourself to experience that emotion, and make sure that in life you never neglect your humanness. If you feel a need to cry, then cry. If you feel a need to be angry, well then maybe you should get angry. But I'm not saying to feed into unconsciousness. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the opposite. Because when I say allow an emotion to be there, what can happen is that we can confuse that for, okay, I'm allowed to just be angry now at everybody, right? I'm just, okay, Francis has allowed the emotion to be there, so I'm just gonna scream and be angry at everybody right now and not care what I feel. No, that would be suppression as well. You're thinking, what? Yes, because when I say allow them to be there, I'm saying you bring 100%, not 60, not 70, not 80, not 90, but 100% of your complete awareness on that negative emotion. 100%. So if you're crying, cry fully with your full awareness. Give yourself that space. It's safe to cry. It's safe to be angry, but only if you give your fullest attention to it. Not by half connecting to it, not by 75% connecting to it, not by 90% connecting to it, but being fully real and authentic with what you feel. Be fully real and authentic with what you feel, okay? And you gotta give yourself permission to experience that emotion. Right now in your life, if you're experiencing an emotion that you're resisting, I'm gonna share with you something right now that's powerful. I am going to give you permission right now. If you're watching this video, I give you full permission to experience that emotion, and I give you full experience. I give you full permission to experience that negative emotion with 100% consciousness. You want to cry, then cry. You want to be angry, do what you got to do, but don't identify with it, which brings me to the third point, which is very critical to understand. The first 2 points I shared were powerful, but this is the most important piece of all of it. This third point will free you from anything that you experience in your life. Not by detaching from it in the sense where you're desensitizing yourself or resisting, but you got to understand that you are not your emotions. You are not your emotions. If you're feeling depression, that's not who you are. If you're feeling anxiety, that's not who you are. If you're experiencing guilt, shame, sadness, that's not who you are. You're not even joy either. You're not happiness. You're not the body. You're not the mind. You are not depression. Okay, depression is an emotional energy field in your body that you can be the observer of, but you are not that depression. The depression is social conditioning trying to make you attach to an emotion that is not at all who you are. You are something much more powerful than an emotion, but not powerful in the sense of anything external. It's an internal power that can observe an emotion and actually transmute any negative energy into positive energy just by shining the light of awareness on that fully, also realizing that you are not that emotion. Because what some people think detachment is they think that detachment is running away. Detachment means pushing emotions away. No, here's what detachment really is. It's being so aware, so conscious, being willing to experience something so deeply that you kind of separate yourself from that emotion and you realize, wait a second, I'm not that emotion, but I can observe it. But that's when you bring your fullest focus and attention to that emotion, when you fully allow it to be there, you fully experience it. And this actually eventually brings you to the conclusion that you are not that emotion. Because yes, it is about allowing it to be there. Yes, it's about experiencing it fully, but also it's about understanding that there's a deeper stillness and there's a deeper awareness that can simply observe that emotion, where you can realize that you are not that emotion. So if you're feeling depressed right now, you're not actually depressed. That's not what you are. That's not who you are. You are just aware. And when you realize that you're the awareness of emotions, there's a freedom that comes with that, because the freedom is to realize and to be conscious of the fact that you are not an emotion. That's freedom. Freedom is not about resisting or repressing or pushing something away or even saying not experiencing it. That's not freedom. Freedom is not to never experience negative emotion again. That's not freedom. That's what you call being trapped. Freedom is giving yourself the opportunity to fully experience something to such a high degree that you realize you are not that emotion. And so with that being said, that concludes the video. So once again, if you want to work with me personally one-on-one, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.